On 44, I'm just going to quickly, I did a few fill in the blanks so common examples where tolerance is being applied. Use keywords such as if too small or too large. Okay. Describe how tolerance would be applied in the following scenarios. Medication. This is on page 44. If the dosage, so medication dosage, if it's too low, what would happen? Would make it ineffective, yes. Right? If it's too much or too high, could cause an overdose. Okay. Or you could say could cause harm, right? It could cause serious side effects, you name it. Okay. The entrance door, if it's too small, it would produce drafts, like cold air could come in, and the warm air escape. Right? If it's too large, it would make it impossible to close the door. Okay? So you'd have to like shave off, sand off, or do something like that. A t-shirt, if it's too loose, it would make it very uncomfortable. So, right, you're talking about what happens when it's too big in that case. If it's too tight, the shirt just will not fit. So sometimes you just have to not overthink it. Do not overthink it. A battery, how would you use tolerance when it comes to battery? What's that? Okay, I have to be specific. Let's talk about voltage. But the size would also be a factor. I don't know if did you ever purchase a new battery for your car? You need to make sure it actually fits the spot, right? Because I once went and bought one, I'm like, whatever, 12 volts is 12 volts, right? It's like, oh, it won't fit. And good luck returning a battery, right? Like, so you gotta make sure it works. What about voltage? If it's too low, the car won't start, the components won't work. And yes, we allow you to use won't. Okay? Right? We are very nice here. If it's too high, it can damage the electrical components, right? Or just components. It could fry it, right? We call it if the voltage is too high, you fry something, right? So fridge, like the temperature in the fridge, if it's too low, you start freezing. Think like your veggies and whatnot. I'm sure that has happened. Maybe I don't know if it ever happened to you, but sometimes it freezes the veggies and they're garbage, right? If the temperature is too high, if it's too warm, everything spoils. Just like that. You know what the fridge temperature should be? It should always be 4 degrees Celsius, more or less. Okay. Just a side note here. Speed limit on the highway, 100. If you go too fast, you may be pulled over. You can cause an accident, all these things. If you go too slow, there's also a problem with too slow in certain places, in certain countries. If you go too slow, you can also be ticketed. I think even here technically. So if you get those motorcycles, like the small ones, you can have a class 5 driver's license, with little mopeds. If you go on a highway, I know a cop that has pulled over one of those going on a highway because they can only go 50 or 60. When it's 100, right? So now you're also a hazard, right? You're too slow. All right, that's all. I'm just going to give you a few examples because that way you know what we're talking about. If they ever say, hey, how is tolerance important in this scenario? What are the two things you're going to remember? Talk about what happens when it's too low or too small. it's dependent on the situation and what happens when it's too high, right? That's it. You can do either or, you don't have to do both, okay? Just talk about one extreme, what happens when you go below or when you go too high, okay? And they've done it on 1 year, they talked about the electrical boxes here. Okay. Have you ever done drywall? I know some of you probably have. You gotta cut out this hole here for the electrical box to fit. If you cut it out too big, so I did some rentals at home once, if you cut it out too big, this plate will not cover the hole. So now it's like a big ugly outlet, and you're like, kind of looks very sketchy, right? So now you have to redo the whole thing. So just talk about it. If you make the hole too big, it will be exposed. It's actually dangerous, right? You could possibly, like someone could, like a kid walking around could put their finger in behind and maybe make contact with the wiring. So just make a big deal out of it, right? Make a big deal out of it and just talk about it. If the hole is too small, now you can't fit that electrical box in there, right? So then that's a problem. So, got it? All of that just for 1 mark. But it'll be the best mark you ever get. It'll be so satisfying, okay? So, anyways, so here's what I'm going to tell you to work on. If you go to 45, okay, I will post everything from 44 right till the end of the book, like 44 to 65. I'll post all of the keys. But I know for some of you that might be too overwhelming. You may not have time to do every single page. I get it. So I kind of broke it down into these chunks here. And then 61 to 65 at the end, I just put everything down. Okay? Page 60 is like a standalone question. Remember when we did combined uncertainty? When you combine it, that one deals with that. Okay? And so I'll give you some time to work. What is it, 126? And then I'll give you that AC towards the end, and it will be a take-home AC. So you take it home. No, you take it home, you bring it back tomorrow, so I'll check. First thing I'll check if you did it. If you didn't do it, I'll put a little mark on it, and then we'll correct it. Whoa, is that a trick? Is that like a trick? That's not a trick. I hope you ace it. I really do. I want you to just get a sense of what to expect on a quiz, right? ACs are more written that way. And so you come back tomorrow, we correct it. I'll do even more, like I'll give you another AC tomorrow. That way you get lots of exposure to it. By the time the test comes around, you're fine, okay? Please ask questions, don't be shy. Ask me, come and see me here, or when I walk by, stop me. And take advantage. So you might want to write these down. Another thing you can do right now is work on a study sheet, right? Lots of things to do.